All right, let's dive into this Daredevil world. You've really gone all out with these articles and summaries, even some in-depth analyses, too.
Mm.
Clearly, you want to get way past just the surface level here.
You're not kidding. It's not every request that comes with this much homework. And it's interesting what you seem to be drawn to. Like, we're not just after the plot points. It's Daredevil's depth that you're after.
Exactly. It's more than a guy in a suit punching bad guys.
Right. Way more. I mean, yeah, you got that dark, gritty Hell's Kitchen thing going on. But it's Matt Murdock himself, the man behind the mask, his struggles, his darkness.
And right off the bat, we see him juggling these two lives. Lawyer by day, Daredevil by night. Not exactly your typical superhero origin story.
Not even close.
He's dealing with his faith, questioning everything. That whole justice versus vigilantism thing. Is he really upholding the law? Or is this just taking matters into his own hands?
And that's where Daredevil really nails it. It doesn't spoon-feed you the answers. And Matt's Catholicism, man, that adds a whole other dimension to it.
No kidding.
He's constantly questioning, am I serving justice or am I giving in to vengeance? It's that inner conflict that makes him so fascinating.
Absolutely. And we can't forget the way the show looks.
Yeah.
It's dark, yeah, but it's purposeful. The shadows, the way they use light, it's like an extra character.
Yeah, totally.
And then, bam, you get these splashes of color. Red, especially.
Right. So deliberate.
It's tied to Daredevil's rage, his sacrifice.
It's all intentional. Nothing's by accident.
Even those fight scenes, everyone talks about those. They're brutal, raw.
But they're not just mindless action, you know?
Right.
Think about that hallway fight in season 1, the one-take shot. Brutal, raw, and you feel every hit. It's like you're right there with him.
It's claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Intense. And he's not some invincible superhero either.
No way.
Daredevil gets hurt. He's vulnerable. You see him struggle.
And that makes his wins all the more powerful.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's that vulnerability that makes him relatable. He's got limitations, like all of us.
Yeah.
And it highlights the cost of what he does. Every punch, every injury, it takes a toll, Not just physically, emotionally and spiritually, too.
Season 1 really sets all this up so well. And then you've got Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
Oh, man, what a villain.
Right. He's got this twisted vision for Hell's Kitchen.
But it's how they portray him that's fascinating. He's ruthless, no doubt. But there's this capacity for love, too. Though maybe it's a messed up kind of love. For the city, at least.
He's not just some stereotypical bad guy.
Not at all. He believes he's doing the right thing, which, in a way, makes him even scarier.
Oh, definitely. It's like this clash of ideologies. Daredevil and Kingpin, battling it out in the shadows of Hell's Kitchen.
Both driven by their pasts.
Yeah.
Both wanting to make a difference.
With their methods.
Couldn't be more different.
And that final showdown in season 1.
Oh, so good.
It's more than just a fight. It's everything they've been through coming to a head.
Their wills clashing, their visions for the city.
And it sets the stage for everything that comes after. And speaking of challenges, season 2 throws us a curveball. Frank Castle, the Punisher.
Oh, yeah. Talk about a clash of philosophy.
Right. Daredevil trying to save everyone. And Punisher.
Permanent solutions, no second chances. It forces Daredevil to really examine his own code.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
Does he believe in redemption? Can people change? It gets to the heart of what it means to be a hero.
Doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not like Matt just dismisses Frank's methods. You see him wrestling with it, the doubt creeping in.
There's that gray area again. Daredevil does that so well.
No easy answers.
No simple right or wrong.
It makes you think.
It asks tough questions about justice, about our actions, and it forces you to confront those questions too.
For sure. And then you bring Elektra into the picture, this blast from Matt's past.
Ooh, Elektra.
She brings a whole other level of intensity to the action, to their relationship.
She's a force of nature, that one. Dangerous, unpredictable. She tempts Matt to embrace that darkness inside him.
And their connection. It's electric, no pun intended.
I think you meant to say that.
Maybe. But it throws his whole life into even more chaos. It's like with each new character, each new challenge, Matt's forced to confront another piece of himself.
Yeah.
He's constantly questioning who he is, what he stands for, all against this backdrop of Hell's Kitchen, as corrupt and unforgiving as the villains he faces.
It's a tough place to be a hero.
For
But that's Daredevil's world, I guess.
It is, and we're just getting started exploring it.
Let's keep going.
Absolutely. We were talking about how each new person in Matt's life makes him look at himself differently.
Right.
And as the show goes on, it's not just in what Matt does and, his actions, But the whole visual style of Daredevil, it reflects these internal struggles.
See, that's what gets me about how the show looks. It's not just about being cool or edgy. It's deeper than that. Like all that darkness, the shadows everywhere, they're not just like set dressing, They're metaphors, they mean something. For the secrets Matt carries, the burdens, all of it.
It's like the city itself is closing in on him, mirroring how trapped he feels, living this double life.
Exactly.
But then, you get these pops of color, especially red.
Oh man, Red in Daredevil, that's a whole conversation.
That's so powerful, right?
It's his rage, the violence he deals out A&D takes.
And the sacrifice, too.
Right, his willingness to put himself on the line.
Even his costume, it's not like some sleek superhero thing.
No, it's rough, primal almost, a symbol of that internal fight he's always going through.
You mentioned the fights earlier, and I think those really show how unique Daredevil's style is.
For sure.
That rawness, the brutality.
And it's beautifully choreographed, too, like a violent ballet or something.
And the camera work, it puts you right in the middle of it.
Those long takes they use, man.
Like that prison fight in season 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's not just showing off, it's immersive.
You feel Matt's exhaustion, the desperation.
It's an experience, not just watching a fight.
Exactly.
And the music, too. Can't forget that. That haunting score. Almost industrial.
So good.
It adds so much tension, grittiness. I read somewhere that the composer was inspired by the city's sounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the subway, metal clanging, all that.
Wow, that makes sense. It creates this soundscape that's as unsettling as Hell's Kitchen itself.
Totally.
Another way Daredevil uses everything to tell its story.
When it first came out, people were blown away. How dark it was, how complex.
It really raised the bar for superhero shows, didn't it?
For sure.
It proved they could be more than just popcorn entertainment.
Right.
These could be character-driven dramas, exploring serious themes, morality, justice, faith.
It opened the door for a whole new wave of gritty superhero stuff.
And you even see its influence in the MCU now.
Absolutely.
The Netflix shows might not be official canon or whatever.
Right.
But the impact is obvious. Look at Charlie Cox coming back as Matt Murdock.
Spider-Man, She-Hulk.
Marvel Studios knows what Daredevil achieved.
They'd be foolish not to, I think.
But it wasn't just about darkness and grittiness, Daredevil had heart, too. Matt's relationships with Foggy, Karen, Father Lanta.
Oh, yeah, they were the emotional core, weren't they?
Absolutely. They grounded him, gave him humanity in this crazy world.
Those relationships were so well done. The writing, the acting, top-notch. You believed in their bond, their loyalty.
Yeah.
Even when things got messy.
And that's why people connected with Daredevil so strongly. It wasn't just about the superhero. It was about the people he cared about, the sacrifices they all made.
Speaking of which, I think it's important to acknowledge, the criticism the show got about representing minorities.
Yeah, that's fair.
It tried to deal with complex social issues, but there's always room for improvement, right?
Absolutely.
In terms of diversity, representation, it's an ongoing conversation in superhero media and everywhere else.
For sure.
But going back to Daredevil's legacy, it's amazing how much it's still talked about, analyzed, even years after it ended. What do you think it is about the show that makes it stick with people?
It's hard to say exactly. I think it's the combination of everything we've been talking about. The characters, the moral struggles, the action.
The visuals, the emotion, it all adds up.
It's a show that stays with you, that's for sure.
I know, I've rewatched it a few times. And you catch new things each time. It's crazy.
You too.
Shows the quality of the writing, directing, everything.
It's well made, no doubt.
But at its heart, I think Daredevil's about hope. It's about finding light in the dark, holding on to your beliefs, even when the world is trying to tear you down.
And that resonates with people, especially these days.
You've mentioned hope a couple of times now. What kind of hope do you think Daredevil offers?
It's not a naive hope, that's for sure. It's hard-won, forged in the fire, It's the hope that even when things are awful, when you're beaten down, broken, there's still something worth fighting for.
And that fight isn't always pretty, as Daredevil shows us.
No, it's messy, brutal, it takes a toll.
But it's worth having.
It is. And it's not just Matt Murdock's fight,
Right.
It's the fight we all face in our own lives, against our own demons, against the injustices we see.
Daredevil reminds us that we all have that capacity for good and evil.
And the choices we make, they matter.
Sometimes the most heroic thing is just getting back up. Keep fighting, even when you're not sure you'll win.
That's the kind of hope Daredevil offers. It's not about guaranteeing victory. It's about the belief that the fight itself is what matters.
That even in the darkest corner of Hell's Kitchen,
Yeah.
There's that spark of hope
Yeah.
that can burn away the shadows.
It can.
We've talked about all the darkness, the fights, the hope, but something that really gets to me with Daredevil is the focus on Matt's relationships. It's not just superhero stuff, it's about human connection, you know?
Oh, totally. Those relationships, they're vital for a guy like Matt, living that double life. Take Foggy Nelson, his law partner, best friend. Foggy sees the good in Matt, the lawyer fighting for justice in the courtroom.
Yeah.
But he also has to deal with the secrets, the danger that comes with Daredevil.
It puts a strain on their friendship, for sure. Time and time again.
Yeah, but in the end, it's one of the most genuine things in the show.
It really is. You feel that history between them, the love, the loyalty.
Even when they're butting heads.
Absolutely. And then you've got Karen Page. She comes into their lives kind of unexpectedly.
But she becomes so important to them both.
Doesn't she?
Karen's strong, compassionate. But she's got her own baggage, too.
She's drawn to Matt, but also scared of that darkness around him.
That push and pull is what makes their dynamic so interesting.
They challenge each other, make each other better.
And they offer each other some sense of normalcy in this crazy world.
And we can't forget Father Lantom, Matt's confessor, spiritual advisor, the one person he can truly open up to about being Daredevil.
Their conversations, man, some of the most thought-provoking stuff in the whole series.
You see Matt struggling with his faith, the guilt, the doubt.
It's heavy stuff.
And Father Lantom, he doesn't give easy answers.
Mm-hmm.
But he listens, offers perspective.
Reminds Matt that he's not alone.
Even in his darkest moments, there's still hope for redemption.
All these relationships, Foggy, Karen, Father Lantom, they make Daredevil more than just a superhero show.
Right.
They remind us that even heroes need people.
People who understand them, support them, see the whole person.
Good and bad.
It makes you think about your own life, you know?
It does.
The people you rely on, the ones who help you be your best self. We don't have to face our battles alone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's a powerful message, I think. One of the most important things Daredevil gives us.
The power of connection, community, finding strength in each other.
Exactly.
So before someone dives into Daredevil, what should they be looking out for?
Pay attention to the details, for sure. How they use color, light to create a mood, the fight scenes, the choreography. It's not just about flashy moves. They tell a story. And the music, don't just tune it out. It's amazing.
And don't get tunnel vision on Matt Murdock. The other characters matter too. Their motivations, relationships.
They're the heart of the show.
They really are.
And most importantly, think while you're watching. What would you do in Matt's shoes? Where's the line between justice and revenge? What does it even mean to be a hero?
We've gone deep into Daredevil today.
We have.
Explored the darkness, the fights, the hope. But this is just the start of your journey with the show.
Now it's your turn to experience it. See what stands out to you, what stays with you.
And hey, maybe after you've watched it, you'll come back and we can have another deep dive.
I'd like that.
This time with your insights, your thoughts.
Sounds good.
Until then, happy watching.